Hi, welcome to Business Influencers. I'm your host, Chris Salem. Hope everyone is having a great week. If you are new here to Business Influencers, you found us here at TALRadio, part of the Touch of Life Foundation. And we encourage those that are new to check us out also on our YouTube channel, Spotify, also on Apple as well. There we've had many of our great guests each and every week sharing their words of wisdom to help elevate your personal and business influence to the next level. Today's show is going to be an exciting one. Matter of fact, there is an event going on at the end of this month in New York City, which you're going to find out more information around suicide prevention. And again, I am so looking forward to today's show as we are going to be talking about the Beacon of Hope. And we're here with Kelly Markey. She's an international best-selling author, a highly accomplished professional with over 30 years experience in the health industry. She has worked all over the world for major world gorillas and has gained extensive knowledge and expertise by traveling to over 200 cities. Expertly equipped in her richly lived experience, she's an accomplished writer. Her best-selling books include Don't Just Fly, Soar, Glean, Grow, and Glow, Making Sage Decisions, Legacy Playbook, and The Life of Johandra, Transcending the Shadows of Suicide. Anthologies Lady, Diversity, Power, and Heart Warrior. In addition to her impressive career achievements, Kelly is also dedicated to philanthropy, supporting numerous organizations around the globe that work towards women's empowerment and spiritual growth. With her electrifying presentations that are renowned for motivating, educating, and inspiring audiences to reach new heights, Kelly truly shines as a leader in her field. Now, I could keep going on and on, but you're going to learn more about this wonderful woman here as we introduce Kelly Markey to the show. Kelly, how you doing today?
Good day, Chris. Thank you. It's an honor to be on this platform, and I'm excited to share a meaningful conversation with you.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about the Beacon of Hope and, talk a little bit about the insights there, because, this is something with people, a lot of times, people that are in need of help, we sometimes don't realize it, and sometimes it can come on too late. Let's talk about some of the things that you've done with the Beacon of Hope to help, others that could be suffering in silence and, in terms of the help and resources that, that we want to get across to them.
Absolutely, my pleasure. So it began with me being in lockdown, and I had no desire to write a book, but I felt compelled, and I wrote my first book because people were reaching out from all over the globe, because I'm so well-traveled, to, I guess, find a streak of resilience during lockdown, because we didn't know whether we were going to come out alive. And then I realized, I've got all of this lived experience and people are trying to tap into it. So I decided to write my first memoir, which is Don't Just Fly, Soar. And it was amazing. I've got people from over 70 different countries reach out to me, and people identify with the story because it's not, I guess, fluff. They look through the lived experience and they have been there themselves. So out of that, I've got people that inundated me with requests to write more, but I've had amazing feedback and stories, personal journeys. And I've had numerous readers contact me and relay the story of how they found themselves in my experience or shared some kind of information. And one of it was I gifted. So this is my book. I'm not sure if your readers can see them or the
Yes, we can see it. Yes.
Okay, so Don't Just Fly, Soar. And I gifted that to an organization in South Africa for Women's Month, and they found it out to a few women that they thought needed to read this. And a few months later, I was in Australia, and someone contacted me, a woman that I didn't know from above. So at 3 a.m. in the morning, and she said, I was gifted your book and I'm reading it, and wow, I just needed to reach out to you, and I needed to speak to you and know that, you were real. And we shared a few text messages via Messenger. And then she said, "Can I call you?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure," because I could discern pain in her voice. And when she rang me, the story that she relayed was, yeah, left me in tears. And then I thought, if I wrote this and it has just touched and changed one life, it's worth it. But I've had thousands of stories like this, Chris. So she basically relayed to me that her husband had committed suicide on her birthday, and she hadn't had a proper meal or sleep for over 6 months. And reading my story gave her hope. It gave her a glimpse of the fact that she could get up and soar again, and that she would find her way no matter how bleak life was. It gave her that beacon of hope. And out of that, I still thought, wow, yeah, my writing is impacting people, but I didn't feel like I needed to write more because I have my day job. I work in IT clinical consultancy, and I loved my day job. And then I was inundated with requests to write more. And I wrote Making Sage Decisions, and I had the same amazing feedback and profound feedback from readers, and it's touched people around the world. It's been quoted by a professor in China in his works. And again, I thought, yeah, maybe that's it. I have no desire to write. And unfortunately, last year, I lost my brother to suicide, and I'm still grappling with the aftermath of that. And again, I thought, I don't have it in me. I don't know what to do with the pain. I don't know where to channel it. And I just found myself one day just crying. And I thought, maybe I should channel this positively and use it and be a beacon, because I myself never thought I would have to navigate the suicide terrain. And here I am going through it. And I'm certain there's many people out there that think that suicide will never touch them. And then I started writing, and in so many ways it was therapeutic, but it was also painful, and it still is a painful journey. So in there, I brought a bit of my brother's life into the book, also calling out bad behavior. So we do address the elephant in the room and not ignore things and shove them under the rug. And I had this book reviewed by international associations of top professionals, the CEO, and she recommended it to the board for top book of the year. It's going to be showcased in New York Times Square on the 6th of September. So out of that, I founded and launched Beacon of Hope mission. So basically it's channeled at social change and making a difference, being that voice, identifying the elephants in the room, but also addressing what needs to be addressed.
So powerful. And, having to go through that experience is so difficult. And there's so many people out there. So, that, whether if people that are, have, family that have gone through that, friends, and so on. So the Beacon of Hope has been set up to really bring people together to not only create awareness and help, but to help those people become more resilient in the wake of a loved one or someone close to them that have gone through, that have committed suicide. What are some of the things that you have in place right now with the Beacon of Hope to, create more awareness, to create more, help to those that could be suffering and that they can get help?
Absolutely. So I have launched my own publishing house, which is Markey Writing Academy, and I give opportunities to scholars and also novice authors and those that are experienced authors to actually share their voice. So especially to the unheard voice, and in developing countries, the opportunity to talk about these matters, because quite often in the developing countries, we don't have the opportunities to talk about these taboo topics. So I have created a platform for 18 authors around the globe to basically voice themselves. And I have launched an anthology via Markey Writing Academy. So that's called Echoes of Humanity, and that's going to be launched on the 31st in New York. That's one avenue. So part of Beacon of Hope is also working with other organizations like Lifeline in Australia and in South Africa at grassroots level, especially with South Africa. I'm a long-term partner. And I've also got awards set up for people to write in terms of bringing their voice and addressing what needs to be addressed. One of the authors in Echoes of Humanity actually is a mom of 2 children that are disabled. And she talks about her plight and how she had to navigate that in a developing world, and the unforeseen circumstances and the limitations that she has, from just the country that she's grown up with, and the lack of support, and also the ignorance around people, in the culture that she's coming from, where they think she's cursed to have 2 kids that are disabled. So it's bringing all that to the front and having those cards laid out so we can have informed decisions, and other people around the world can also tap into what's going on in places that they probably are unaware of.
Yes, absolutely. And what I loved about what you talked about, the writing, I find that when I was, even though I don't consider myself to be a writer, even though I've written an international best-selling book, but I find when I used to write down, like journal my thoughts or just journal things, it took a lot of that stuff out of my head. It was like taking that head trash out of my head. And, so when then I could look at it from a third party perspective, it wasn't like it didn't have a grip on me like it did back long time ago. Like, 'cause I started doing this 25 years ago. And like when you keep it in your head, it's like, sometimes the head can do things that are not good for you. But I find that writing is so powerful. Have you seen that is like, it has helped a lot of people, whether if it's
Absolutely.
journaling, writing, whatever that may be?
Absolutely. I totally resonate with that, Chris. So even with the authors in this anthology, they have communicated with me after they put pen to paper. They have felt like, the burden was lightened. We had an author that shared, and she sent me her chapter, and she said, "This is the first time the world knows about who I am." And she's like, "I actually feel lighter after I've written this chapter." And I was like, wow, when I read a chapter, I was like, wow, that was some, unveiling. And in so many ways, it was liberating for her.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's definitely therapeutic and so required. And for somebody like myself who doesn't consider himself to be a writer, it was so helpful. And to this day, I still do this. I've been doing it every day for 25 plus years now. I write, every morning after I meditate, whatever comes to mind. And it's helped me profoundly in so many different ways, not only to get over my own self-limiting beliefs early on when I started doing this, but to now, like, just to keep things, that I don't dwell on the things that really are not as bad as I think they are, and I can see the challenge or the obstacles as opportunities, not that something happening to me. And so it's so powerful. What are some other things, by sharing here on the show, that we have so many people here at TALRadio, Touch a Life Foundation, that we're all about giving back. Touch a Life is also a philanthropic organization and want to help organizations like yourself. What would you say right now is, with what you're doing with the Beacon of Hope, what are some of the things right now that you feel are necessary to communicate to people around the area of suicide prevention?
Absolutely. I think the greatest thing is not to take people for granted. And stats show that when someone actually commits the deed, they have actually spoken about it. And I would urge anyone, no matter where they are, and even if they don't feel equipped, if it's in a work setting or, outside of their remit, to just engage with someone else and say, hey, so and so mentioned they were at the end of themselves and they're thinking or contemplating this, to reach out for help, identify the risk. Because when people do actually talk about it, that means they have plotted, planned, and they are willing to go through with it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's for us to actually step back, and if we are thinking in a better space, to stand in the gap.
Yeah.
So I would say that's the most crucial part, to identify where we need to, target. The other aspect for me personally, my brother became disabled in terms of the loss of his right hand, when he was 19. And growing up in South Africa, there was no opportunity. He basically was dealt a death sentence before his life even began. And I watched him grapple with that. And I think it became part of society where they just accepted it. And it was like, oh, you've got an unfair shake. And part of my book, I unravel the fact that there was a silence cry. And it wasn't just a silent cry, because a disabled hand is a loud scream.
Mm-hmm.
And society ignored that. And for 30 years, he showed resilience. He got up every day and showed up for life. And for me, I feel like we need reform, especially in South Africa, to deal with the disabled and to create opportunities. And for organizations like, you and me, we can make that robust change and bring reform to the land in terms of what we can and cannot do. Because yes, sometimes people are limited by where they are born and what's shoved their way, but we should take heed of that loud cry.
Like you said, it doesn't necessarily have to be, just words all the time. It can just be through actions and behaviors. And so just again, turning up our sensory acuity to be, alert to this. And when in doubt, again, we don't want to just assume, but to ask and to, again, but if we feel like we're picking up on signs that we don't take it for granted, because, it's just, yeah, I mean, I've seen this happen before with friends where like it came out of left field. Where did this happen? This person had a smile on their face. They didn't seem down, but there always was, some clues. It was just that you took it for granted. You kind of dismissed it. And I know
Exactly.
we all have our own lives, and that's our responsibility, but just to be more alert. And I know I've been more alert since I've lost few friends to suicide as well. And
I'm
and
sorry
it's
about that.
definitely, yeah, it's definitely something that we have to be mindful of, and so on, not just for our loved ones, but just like you said, even people at work, or because this has happened with people at work, or somebody's committed suicide at work, and so on. But there have been clues. So it just, again, we can't tell people what to do, but we can share and encourage them, to find help, or to suggest something, whether if it's through their employee assistance provider or other outside like help, is what you're doing with the Beacon of Hope. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And quite often people don't have the opportunity to have an authentic conversation with someone, because a
Mm.
lot of people are alone. So it's providing that safe space
Yes.
so
Can you
that
talk
they could
about the
reach out.
importance of that psychologically safe space, whether if it's in a family setting, a personal relationship setting, a company organizational setting? Why feeling psychologically safe is essential to helping someone come out of their shell to be open?
Absolutely, because you need to build trust. And a lot of time when people have reached the end of the line, they feel there's no hope and they don't reach out to loved ones because they don't feel safe or they don't feel heard, they don't feel seen. So we need to make them feel no matter what happens, we are not here to, probably solve whatever you're going through, but we can listen. And I think most of the time, 90% or 80%, people just want to be heard. They are just stuck in the cycle of life and going on that wheel, churning around and being unheard, being unnoticed. They want someone to stop and validate them for who they are and what they are feeling. And quite often in society, we don't validate people's emotions, we don't show them any empathy. So if we create that space, like when the woman reached out to me, I didn't know her from above. So, but she identified with my story. She identified with the lessons that I've gleaned. She identified with my journey. That's why she reached out to me. And immediately when she rang me, she connected and she opened up because she felt safe.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, when people feel safe, it's like you said, once they open up, it's that first step in the right direction, that they're starting to feel heard and related to and understood. And maybe again, that's the biggest thing they required to kind of start the healing process. Because
Yeah.
just all
And
this time they felt alone, even though, they knew they weren't alone, but just that nobody could understand what they were thinking, what they were feeling, and so on.
I think also quite often in our day and life that's hyped with what others think and social media and all of that. Taking back to this lady's example, she said to me she was going through so much, but she couldn't talk about it. She couldn't be real because her husband was a pastor's son and they were not allowed to talk about this. So even though she was feeling all those things that were real, there was no space made for her. She
Mm.
was deliberately told to put a seal on it. So that's what we don't want to do to humans.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to open up, and it's so crucial with what your organization Beacon of Hope is doing and so on. Can you share a little bit about the upcoming event coming up in New York City on August 31st? What the event is, mission is aiming to do, who can support it, and what people could take away from being there.
Absolutely. So it's going to be an amazing event with lots of networking and in terms of organizations that are like minded in terms of supporting social change. So we're here to, I guess, blow the whistle on where things are at the moment and work in concert with each other so people can come in and step in and also be part of the exclusive book launch for Echoes of Humanity. Hear a bit of what the authors have gone through and what they have written, and take away from where we want to go globally with Beacon of Hope, what footprint we want to leave, and how we look to change the suicide landscape, disability, domestic violence, and mental health. So those are the key components that I would like to make a difference in.
Right. And, again, we encourage those that are listening, any organizations that really want to support creating psychologically safe environments. This is a real issue. And it's something that if we just assume someone else is going to pick up the ball to help in this area, means that we could lose one more life. It requires all of us, to play a part in being resourceful, and no matter what that resourcefulness is, whether if it's a donation, whether if it's committing your time, helping someone just to be heard, making that effort. So we highly encourage people that are listening to get behind organizations like the Beacon of Hope. Reach out to Kelly, get to know her. And if you happen to be coming into New York City, which we'd encourage you to, don't feel like you have to be just from New York City to attend. Make it a fun trip. Come on in for Labor Day weekend and see New York. It's probably one of the better times to do it. and, when the weather's still really nice, and, be part of this. It's so important that we all step up and do it. Anything else as we get near the end of the show, Kelly, that you would like to share, with the audience listening right now and those listening later?
Absolutely. So I'm also giving out awards to those that have also already contributed and made a substantial change as a beacon of hope, or developed some kind of change in the social change environment. So this will be amazing to see some of the work that has already been done, and would be a beacon to us all. And yeah, you'll be amazed at some of the work that's been done. I wouldn't want to steal anyone's thunder, so you would have to come and yeah, look at the impressive work that people are doing. And this is all born out of brokenness as well, or out of plight. There's beautiful things that have come about where people are impacting and changing lives. Amazing. So the organization that I have founded, Beacon of Hope, is also about recognizing what people are doing and how we can enhance that and be the wind beneath people's wings to encourage them to continue.
Awesome. Well, we want to thank you so much for taking time, coming from Australia to share this message with us. Again, we highly encourage everybody to get to know Kelly, reach out to her personally, as well as the Beacon of Hope. And where would be the best way, Kelly, real quick, how they can get in contact with you, whether it's an email, website, or anything about the Beacon of Hope?
Absolutely. So my website is here, kellymarkey.com. I have contact details on there, and the event details are there. If you wish to sponsor us, there's details there. You can reach me on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and Instagram as well.
Great.
Kelly Markey.
We highly encourage everyone to reach out to Kelly. And again, reach out to us here also at TALRadio in the event. If you'd like more information about the Beacon of Hope, we will make sure to connect you with Kelly and her team. Again, be part of this great event that's going to really bring people together, unite, really elevate the message of suicide prevention and what we can all do to play a part in helping to reduce more suicides here in the world. Kelly, thank you so much again for taking the time to be here with us today. We are so grateful to have you here, not only personally for myself, but also our team here at TALRadio.
Thank you. It was an honor.
Thank you. And thank you, listeners, each and every week for joining us here at Business Influencers. Again, we highly encourage you to listen to this show in its entirety. And again, we are committed each and every week in bringing subject matter experts like Kelly in to share their words of wisdom and personal insights to help take your level of influence to the next level. Here we talk about a wide array of different topics. So again, if there's something here you'd like to see on a future show, feel free to reach out to us at chris@christophersalem.com. Till then, everybody, have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next week. Take care.